everybody, this is Becca with Empowering Pumps. I'm very excited to have Michael Hewson with us from Worldwide Electric. Michael, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much, and thanks for having me on this one today. So Michael Hewson, I'm the marketing director for Worldwide Electric. So I've been with Worldwide approximately about 2.5 years or so now. And a lot of our customers might know my name through the emails that I send out. We send directly from myself. So I'm responsible. We're going to be talking about EASA today, so I'm responsible for the event, for how we represent ourselves at the event, getting the booth there, getting the equipment there, all of that good stuff. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And obviously, you might not hear the US accents. I've been in the US accents, should I say? So I've been in the US for about 25 years now. Most of that time, I would say the majority of that time, dealing with industrial products.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to have you here and definitely excited to talk about ESA and to have a fellow marketer on the call because normally that's not how it shakes out.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. I can't always throw the sales guys under the bus. Every now and then I have to do it myself.
Sometimes you got to take one for the team.
That's it.
All right, so why don't you tell me what innovations is Worldwide Electric bringing to market that address the challenges of motor reliability and serviceability in demanding applications?
Yeah, okay. So we're always looking to make improvements on our motors, drives, gears, things like that, make them more reliable. We found many larger manufacturers looking ways to implement those value engineering strategies. They're often, try and bring down costs. But we find it often, maybe lowers the quality of the overall product, possibly doesn't lower the cost for the end user. It's small things like, changing wall thicknesses, changing materials on fans, end belts, things like that, removing components like on motors, the small things like a shaft slinger that help the overall reliability. So we don't take that approach. We look for features and components to make our motors perform in some of the harshest environments. Stuff like mining and agri and washdown, there's such, extreme environments there. So we build features into those things that go above and beyond. Putting oversized bearings in where they're needed, on some of the heavy duty, severe duty motors, things like that. Because we know that the majority of failures in a motor occur because of the bearings. So we look at the small features like that and design for the case that we need for the industrial applications that our products are going into. Give you an example, I was at a pickle plant a few weeks ago. So it was a first for me, very caustic environment, brine and vinegar everywhere. Our stainless steel motors are in there. It's got a welded junction box that removes the gasket issues that are normally found. IP69K rating for those high pressure, high temperature spray downs. And those small improvements, just rather than design and manufacturing shortcuts, we're going the other way, just to make it a better product for its intended use. And it shows in our reliability for our customers. We've got a warranty rate on all of our motors for less than 0.5%. So surface reliability, serviceability, that's something that we always at the front of what we do.
I love it. I like that you're taking that application framework to it and making it work for the person that's using the equipment.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that, motors have been around. It's not something new and, Fandangle, a brand new thing. People know what works and what doesn't work with motors, and we choose to pick the path that what works.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, can you also share some insights about how you're supporting the electromechanical service industry with training and technical resources?
Yeah, well, with ESA, I mean, they're one of our major customer bases, all the motor shops out there. So, and we've always, supported them. I suppose it's, that support, the resources, the training, those three factors. So, we've always leaned into customer support. We're a customer focused company, whether that's pre-sales or post-sales. I think we're one of the few manufacturers that offers 24/7 free technical support on all of our products. And on the motors and the gearboxes, that's maybe not such a big deal because the people that go to ESA, the motor shop owners, people like that, they're very experienced and knowledgeable on the motors and the gears. But for motor controls, it's bigger. being able to call those and get to an application engineer because you've got a VFD issue, and maybe in the middle of the night, then that's big for the customers. But hopefully, we're helping them on the front end with the support as well because our app engineers are available for, installation and configuration as well. So to make that process go smoothly, get everything installed, and obviously that helps the product live longer in the environment that it's in.
Yes, and that person-to-person support is so important.
Yeah, that's it. On the resources side, I came in 2 years ago. We've always had the resources that some of our customers need, so drawings, data packs, those sort of things when they're speccing out products. But my focus in the last 2 years has been building those resources and getting them on our website, making them available, easy to find, accessible, with search functions, all that good stuff. And then in the last 2 years, I've really focused on video content because that's how people want to see the how-to videos are constantly the biggest videos that people watch from us. We've got product overviews and other things like that, but the how-to videos, so for an engineer, somebody who's installing a VFD or something like that, to be able to go on YouTube and find out how to, set a pump clean feature or, configure it for fire mode. And it's just there, they can play a pause. So it's that sort of focus that we've took on the content and the support side. Um, for training, again, we've always, offered training sessions to our customers, whether that's a lunch and learn with our regional manager, whether that's bringing an app engineer into a motor shop, to educate them about those motor control things, which are a little bit newer to some of those distributors, when they first start selling motor controls, or, whether it's bringing a group of those individuals out to one of our facilities and giving them more in-depth training, or even an end user in conjunction with the distributor, bringing them together for giving them that training. And then also, it's worth mentioning, obviously, North American Electric, we purchased them a year and a half ago. They had a great structured university program teaching like Motor 101 and Controls 101 to their customers. So we've been looking at that since we purchased them, plans to develop it and expand on it. And our Hernando facility in Mississippi, it's a great place for customers to go to, get their hands on the product, see all the production going on, and it really allows them to focus and learn, and get away from that day-to-day interruptions. So that university program, it'll be big for us in the future.
That's awesome. I can't wait to learn more about that as start rolling that out. And I
Yeah,
love that you have such diversity in the different options that you and resources you have for people because it is also important to meet people where they're at. Everyone learns differently, likes different ways of learning about things in general. And so you have all options really of how someone can get information.
that's it. Yeah, well, we're not in a business where we sell something and then forget about it. We're there to support all the way through from start to finish.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. So,
So looking at EASA's theme, it's powering the future. What new technologies or product lines is Worldwide developing to address industry needs?
okay, so well, we're always, expanding our motors and gear ranges, always looking to build on what we've done. And we focus on our core strengths, which is getting the right product, quality product that we know people want and making it available. I can think of probably three products that are in the pipeline right now, just waiting on third-party approvals, and the process. And that's a documentation process that's out of our hands. We've submitted all that sort of stuff. We're just waiting for those third-party organizations to come back to us, give us the documentation, and those new products will be out there, ready to help our customers. A big focus for us is motor controls. Again, that facility in Hernando, it's UL certified. It's a hub for all of our production for motor controls, and they're all built in the US by US workers, and we have the ability to design sort of new components, new technology into those packages very quickly because we've got engineers on site, we've got the production on site, the testing, all those aspects of production. And then, I think to offer those product improvements at such short lead times, because we've got everybody there together. I think probably we're industry leading on that, and you're only going to see improvements on our delivery times in the future, you know.
Yeah.
I suppose as an example, the VFD bypass that we've had out for the last year or so, it's a product that can disrupt the status quo. It's not a historical market for us, but we looked at that and said, you know what, we have to work harder to get the word out and demonstrate the value that it brings to the industry. But we strategically developed it because we can see it bleeding into our other areas. So, it's going to be useful for a wider range of applications.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously, people can see it at EASA.
Yeah, they can indeed. Yeah, yeah, it'll be there.
So lastly, to kind of tie it all together is what's the best way people can connect with you?
Okay, okay. So, call me, email me, hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm not on LinkedIn every day, but I do get to it. And so, yeah, without a doubt, I see those messages come in. Chances are, if you're a customer or maybe the odd occasional end user, you're receiving our news and marketing emails from me. So I see all the replies to those. So if you've got a question or whatever, you can reply to me. And if that's a sales question, then I forward that straight through to sales and they obviously respond quickly. I'm looking forward to Nashville, looking forward to ESA. So I'll be there. So would love to talk to y'all on that one. So yeah, come by the booth and talk to me and obviously everybody else that we've got on the booth. It's a great place to, see all customers, see all friends and stuff like that as well. People have been in this industry a long time. So yeah, come by and make new friends. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Check them out
Yeah.
at EASA. If you're not at the show, then you can check them out on their website or reach out to Michael. And, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to see how EASA goes for you.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Nice one. Nice talking to you, Becca.